Yes. So, uh, various questions today.
Oh, today
First
is
question
a
from
very,
Christoph. How do you read the personality? He said he has 3 letters out of 4 that are exactly his. For the first one, he was a little bit dubious. So what we added here is that you have an information about stability for a particular character. So you see, Christoph, here, this character is fairly stable, very
yes.
stable, or rather flexible. So maybe look again at yours, and maybe you will see that this one is rather flexible. And what was it? It was about intuition, or I don't remember the one for you. But when I told that to Christine, she said, "No, no, it's absolutely correct. He's like that."
OK.
Okay.
Donc, effectivement, alors, si je comprends, chaque lettre a un facteur plus ou moins de stabilité.
Ouais, c'est ça. Je le refais en anglais.
Oui.
So yeah, each letter could be very stable or could be less stable, flexible. For instance, it's when you are close to the center. So this one means if it's green, it's in one direction. If it's red, it's in another direction. But if it's in the center, it means that we are close to the limit. For instance, if E between I and E, it is in the center, it means that we are moving somewhere here between the limit of interior and exterior. If you are close to the center of the JP, for instance, it means that we are close to this oscillation. If we are close to the center in the NS, it means that we are close to this line. So we could be moving between these two types, for instance, or these two types, or these two types.
OK.
Okay.
Et, et, et Médéric, comment vous avez défini ces facteurs de stabilité ou d'instabilité?
So when you click on it, no, not yet, not now. Let me check if we can have it here, but I'm not sure. No, I cannot show you. When it moves like that, it can move along the line, and it can be close to the line, or it can be on the other side of the line sometimes, which means that if you are over the line most of the time, but sometimes you go under, it can indicate that it's more flexible.
OK.
And when you play it, actually, it should be moving. No, not on this one, but sometimes when you play hits, when you play the recording, you will see that you will jump from one to another at certain moments.
OK. Je comprends mieux alors. Non, parce
What is
que à chaque
interesting is that this personality type is not something that is engraved. It's moving a bit, and it's moving according to what kind of information you currently get and how you want to react to this information. So it can be also moving if you do something during a session, and at certain moments it can be moving because we react differently to different stimuli.
Et parce que moi, ce que j'observais à chaque fois que je faisais un relevé, une mesure, donc je retrouvais mon profil habituel de NTP, sauf cette lettre du F qui effectivement apparaissait à chaque fois à la place du T, quoi.
Okay. So it was pretty stable, but sometimes it was moving, which is actually normal
Okay.
and actually healthy, in fact. We tend to have different ways of reacting to things according to what we see.
D'accord. Il y avait aussi moi un autre élément avec lequel je travaille moi depuis des années, c'était la notion des motivations profondes. Je sais pas si on arrive à faire un lien. Les motivations profondes, en fait, étant tu peux avoir un profil de personnalité, donc avec les 4 lettres du MBTI, mais un profil de personnalité peut se différencier aussi par des motivations profondes différentes qui sont reliées à notre tonus de base et qui sont connectés avec les 5 dernières vertèbres lombaires, en fait.
Bah, ça m'intéresse si tu as des infos à m'envoyer là-dessus, ça m'intéresse de voir ça, ouais.
Ouais, alors ça, c'est un travail que j'avais fait avec un spécialiste du Setai, qui est un art japonais. Et donc, on est arrivé en fait à déterminer que chaque individu a généralement deux motivations profondes, une qui s'exprime plus de manière intrinsèque et une plutôt orientée sur l'extérieur.
Et ça, c'est un
Et
travail que tu pourrais me partager? Ou,
ouais, ouais, ça, c'est un travail que je
ouais,
peux
ouais. Bah,
partager.
ça m'intéresse. So just
Et
so that people follow, he says he has some extension to the MBTI work where he can work on inner motivations. And maybe that's something that we can add in the app at some point.
et donc, en fait, euh, c'est un peu comme l'histoire de l'homme qui murmurait à l'oreille des chevaux. C'est-à-dire que si tu ne donnes pas de la bonne information qui va aller activer au moins l'une des motivations profondes de la personne, ben, c'est un peu comme le starter d'une voiture. Tu peux avoir les plus grosses ressources à disposition,
Mhm.
mais tu y accéderas en fait jamais.
Bah, c'est vachement intéressant. Ouais. Si tu peux me partager quelque chose et qu'on peut intégrer ça dans l'appli, avec grand plaisir. Ouais.
Alors, je t'enverrai deux, trois infos
Ouais.
et effectivement, moi, j'ai fait des tests avec des joueurs de rugby de 140 kilos où une fois que je connaissais le profil de personnalité, j'avais pu identifier leur motivation profonde. Et donc, un exemple que je leur montrais, c'est ben maintenant, tu vas prendre appui contre un mur, tu mets tout ton poids contre le mur avec tes mains, et puis moi, je vais placer deux doigts au niveau de ta symphyse pubienne, là,
Mhm.
et en fait, je vais te repousser du mur. Alors, bien évidemment, à 140 kilos, ils te regardent, et c'est sûr. Et comme je connaissais les motivations profondes, je leur murmurais quelque chose à l'oreille,
Mhm.
mais qui allait activer des motivations profondes qui n'étaient pas les leurs.
Mhm.
Et là, en fait, la structure se lâche.
Ok.
Et donc, avec deux doigts, je les faisais décoller du mur. Alors, je leur disais, mais résiste, tu m'as dit. Et en fait, la structure s'effondre.
Mhm.
C'est vraiment ouais, se connecter avec notre tonus de base, en fait. Et si tu sais l'activer, bah, la personne va pouvoir aller utiliser, exploiter toutes ses ressources. Sinon, elle y a pas accès. C'est
Ok.
vraiment
Cool.
l'histoire de la voiture qui a le plus gros moteur, la plus belle carrosserie, tout ça, les chevaux les plus développés, mais si la batterie elle est vide, bah il se passe jamais rien.
Mhm.
Et ben c'est aussi lié à ça. Et c'est nos motivations profondes en fait, et elles sont connectées à nos 5 dernières vertèbres lombaires.
Ok.
La
Ah, comme
première
ça,
vertèbre,
comme c'est une information que j'ai, si on peut croiser les choses, effectivement, ça peut être intéressant, hein.
ça peut être pas mal.
Ouais.
Et en fait, la première vertèbre lombaire est reliée à tout ce qui touche à la compréhension. Donc, des individus qui ont besoin de comprendre, en fait, les choses pour pouvoir s'activer.
Mhm.
L2, c'est tout ce qui est lié avec la relation. L3, c'est la compétition.
Mhm.
L4, c'est l'ancrage. Et L5, c'est la projection, c'est-à-dire des individus qui ont besoin de voilà, projeter.
D'accord.
Voilà. Et on en a tous deux. Une qui est plutôt orientée vers l'intérieur, une interne, une externe. Et en fait, chaque environnement dans lequel on est amené à évoluer va plus ou moins les activer ou pas.
Mhm. Ok.
Et il faut au moins qu'il y en ait une qui soit, on va dire, nourrie, parce que les deux sont en interaction et communiquent en permanence. Mais si l'environnement n'en nourrit aucune, moi je dis aux personnes, il
Mhm.
faut fuir, quoi. Vous pourrez jamais vous exprimer et exploiter votre potentiel.
Mhm.
Voilà, en gros.
So for English folks, I will have
Bien.
difficult time to say everything in English, but it might be new features in the app at one point. And one feature I would like to have, but I didn't find the keys right now, is the big five. Big five for the personality would be really interesting, but I don't really have keys right now to deduce it from what we have. So if anybody listens to that and have some keys about the Big Five, I'm very interested.
Donc, ouais, je ne sais pas si... bon, je t'enverrai, tu me diras si tu arrives
Ah oui.
à exploiter ça par rapport,
Si c'est
par
basé sur des
rapport à ça.
vertèbres, vu que c'est une info qu'on a, effectivement, on doit pouvoir faire une translation d'une certaine
Mhm.
manière. Ce serait vachement intéressant.
Ok. Top, top, top.
Ouais.
Excellent.
Ok,
Bon,
super.
bah, super. Ben, je me réjouis de pouvoir un peu, tu vois, je vais aller exploiter, regarder un peu plus ces facteurs de stabilité
Ouais.
sur les LED du MBTI et puis travailler aussi là-dessus. Parce que c'est marrant parce que maintenant que tu m'en parles, je revois plein de situations dans lesquelles j'ai été amené à évoluer
Mhm.
et effectivement cette troisième dimension là du profil entre le T et le F.
Oui.
Je me positionnais souvent dans le T, mais
Ouais, c'est ça.
voilà. Donc, intéressant, intéressant.
Ouais.
Ok,
Ok.
parfait. Moi, j'ai pas d'autres remarques ou questions.
Okay, so if anybody else has a question, Tino, maybe?
Or cat is that you on the iPhone? If I remember correctly.
I'm driving.
Okay.
You hear me?
No, it's a really bad line. I'm not sure if this is going to be an uploadable webinar. I think it might be TJ.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, just as a quick reminder, because the question arose yesterday about the general navigation in the app. So when you are on the homepage, this is for starting a new recording, and this is for starting a live test. A live test is something that you will be able to choose amongst different lists and just check like that and perform an individual test. So it will actually also create a recording. When you are inside the recording, so after a test or after a recording or after having opened a file from here, you can always navigate through the main chapters from the top to the bottom. Okay, so this is the top menu. So this is the main menu, and then you will get these five elements that are the same as these 5 elements. So it's the analyze section. And this one is the test section. So you always have general access from the top. So you can always move like that. And then you always have this left menu, which can be on top if the screen is smaller. Okay. So if you're on biomarkers, you will get the 3 main elements. So the graphs, the pulse, and the spectrum. And when you click on it, you will get the sub-elements here. Let's make it a little bit smaller even. Okay. So main chapter, sub-chapter, and then item. So when I click on session, it will zoom this in full screen exactly if the same as if I click anywhere in the zone, it will zoom it. But to unzoom it, I can even either click on the menu or click on the small cross that is here. So that will expand and reduce the zone. But when it is reduced, you can actually click anywhere to expand it. So if you want to go from one to another, you can just use the menu. And if you want to go back to graphs, you can click on the menu and you will be back to this zone. So again, you click here, it will zoom. You click here, it will zoom out. In prevalence, in the last version, you have some new sections here, which are related to the state of each biomarker. So when you open a biomarker, you can see that it is balanced, chaotic, and average, for instance. So you will here find all the petals, but then you will find all the attention states, intention states, and horizon states. So you can actually see at a glance everything that is short term, for instance. And this is restricted to temporal, but I can go into any element. For instance, I can check all the large intestine meridian points, and I will get, sorry, prevalence. And I will get every item from the large intestine or the wounds or any organ parts, for instance, or all the organs. So if I choose organs, I will only see organs-related biomarkers here. And I can see, for instance, every organ that is chaotic. So it could be interesting.
Tino had a question.
Yes.
Yes, quickly. Can you explain again what is temporal? You mentioned temporal.
Okay, so in prevalence, oh, sorry. I will just enlarge it. Okay. The temporal horizon, probably short term, long term, and average. It means that when you open any biomarker, you have here some qualities.
Yeah.
And here the petal. So the main petal will be here, and then the qualities will be grouped here. So you always have these three main qualities, which is attention, how much focus we have on it, intention, and horizon, which could be short term or long term. So it could be interesting to see here what are the most short term or long term in certain biomarker families. And by the way, this is also something that we use now in frequencies. When you want to do a complete program for the frequencies, or you want to just show the one with energy or with body or mind, or the one which have high attention or are dispersed, that comes from here. And it could be interesting to work and to make sub-programs only for biomarkers that have currently a high attention. It means something that is acute in your system, or dispersed. It means something that really needs to be addressed because it's far away from your consciousness.
Oh, cool.
So again, on the general navigation, you can just use this to jump from one section to another, and then use the menu on the top or on the left to go inside. And you can zoom here. You can see everything from the menu, basically. And then if you click on some elements, you will get some information. And if you click on the flower, you will also get this. In the latest version, you have to click here on quality to get on the text to get the latest information. But it's also interesting because when you go on something that has a meditation, for instance, let's go on drive here, calmness. If you click here, you will see the complete meditation text here. And you can actually listen to the meditation in your own languages.
That is not available in 17.2, right?
No, it will be in 18.
Okay.
It will be in the next version, 18. So you can, if you want, listen to all of the different meditations, and there will be a button to send us a feedback if something is wrong in the meditation. For instance, if there is a typo or something is mispronounced or I don't know what, in one click, you can just send us that we have to check this particular part. So that's for the general navigation. When a user of yours come to the app, he will only see this. And you will probably go to understand, but you can always switch between the two. So if you are on play, you just have the elements that you need to do as an end user. If you go to understand, you can go everywhere. Sorry. Now, when you share the analysis, you have a little text that explains that he will receive an email with instructions, and also the free test for normal users are only 1 day, but if you are inviting someone as one of your clients, it will be automatically extended to 5 days. So your clients can test your meditations for 5 days, and then they will have to subscribe for 10 euros a month subscription to make a full meditation and to frequencies and so on. And something else that I wanted to show you from the latest version, from the next version, one thing we will do is I want to be able to, that people can do some meditations or frequencies very quickly without a measurement. And for that, we will do some generic meditations or generic frequency plans so that someone can install the app and directly start something. For instance, if you have I don't know, muscle sore or after sports, or calm your mind, or things, basic things like that, that would be the same for everybody. So you, as a therapist, you could create these programs. And for that, you will have a new menu entry here, which is Balance Library. Balance Library is a way to have several, so you can have personal items or items in always the main 3 categories, which are energy, body, and mind. And when you have a list inside that, a list has a title, a description, a category, whether it's public or not, and then a list of priorities that you will decide. So to create a list, you can start from a recording. So if you already have a list of priorities, you can add it into a list and then maybe modify it. So if you have a list and you want to create a balance library, but you don't want these 2 ones, for instance, you just click on it and it will remove them. Okay? Or you just put them back. And if you want to add some more, you can just now pick a priority like that, and that is new, and honestly, it was really needed. So if you want to add some elements from the eyes, for instance, you would just click on eye, and you will add these 4 elements. And you can directly add them to your priorities. So you can also do it after a recording. If you want to add some specific items into your priorities and you don't want to search where are the different elements from the eyes, you can now just pick a priority directly from the priority screen. So you pick a priority, you go anywhere you want to drive. You have all the drives here, so you can just add them like that by clicking on it. And then you can click on it and click here and read if it's exactly what you wanted or not. And if it's not, you just remove it. Okay? Yeah. So if you are not sure, you can just pick more. If you want, I don't know, in the momentums, you're not sure, you just add several ones, and then you check here. You can check the meditation and see if it's okay for you for this particular program. And then when you are happy, you can just click on New and save it to say, for instance, calm after work. I don't know. A quick meditation after work, okay? And you will say it's mostly for energy, it's public, and you just save it. And now it's in your libraries, but because you said it's public, it could also be accessed by other people once we approve it, okay? So it will not be directly public for everybody, it will be public for other practitioners. And then we could decide to put it in public in the front open app for everybody. The idea is that people can just download the app and see the list of approved public elements, even without registering to the app. So they don't even have to create an account. They could directly start listening to something and play some frequencies without creating an account. And then if they want to engage in several days meditation, they would have to create an account and so on. But I want it to be as open as possible. So when you have created it, you can just modify it like that. And you can maybe, if you want to remove this one, let's remove them. And they are not here anymore. But if you want to add some more, you can add them from the priorities that are here. So let's say I want to modify a particular list. I want to add, I don't know, the Blager-Mucosae, okay? And I go back to my library. I can just, in one click, add all the priorities that are here currently in my priorities and save it again. So I can modify it and add some new elements. And then if you are reading a particular client and you have some priorities and you want to add the priorities from Calm after work, you just have to click on it. And of course, it's a bad example because it's already here. Okay, I want to add elements from this list. I can directly add them, just by clicking here. So, and maybe add all of them just with a button. So that's very good because you can have a reading that is specific to the user and then add some elements that you want to add for him anyway, because you find it useful in certain cases or certain situations. So that will come in 1.18.
But this is to create a test or a meditation?
This is to create a meditation.
And you do it
because when you have here in balance frequencies and guided meditations, it comes from the priorities and resources that we detected. So if you are here on priorities, we will have a lot of priorities that are detected by the system, but I can maybe choose to add some elements. And if I want to add some elements, this one are dynamically calculated from the recording. Okay, so this is what you have today in the current version, except that it's nicer now. But you can also add them from your lists. So if you want to add this one, for instance, you can add it for this customer from your recorded lists.
all right.
Okay, so it's a library of items that you often use. And you can just have different items in these different folders and just pick into them very quickly.
But the purpose of having them in the list is to do tests, right?
No, the purpose of having them in the priorities is to build the guided meditation and to build the frequency programs.
Well, hold on, you're talking about different things. One thing is lists and another thing is frequent items.
Yes, because we are not on list at all right now. We are on priorities.
Oh, that list you showed is not.
Yes, it's
a list of priorities only.
Exactly. This is not a list of items to test. This is a list of priorities. Exactly. Okay. You get it. Mm.
And let me ask one thing here. What is the difference between doing two separate recordings or doing a recording and then adding to that recording a second recording? You know what I mean?
Yes, it's a good question. I will just answer to this I will just finish that and then I answer to this question.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So just to be clear, the main element that we compute when we do a recording is priorities and resources. Priorities are all the things that should be worked for this particular client, and resources are all the things that we can call as energy before we work on priorities. So when we build a meditation, every day we will use a priority and a resource. So for instance, the meridian resource, which is the heart meridian in this case, sorry. And then we will work on this particular meridian, which is a priority. So each meditation will be built by tapping into a resource, asking for this for energy from this resource, and then directing the energy to the priority. Okay? If we are building a generic meditation, the resources will not be calculated by the recording because there will be no recording. So we will take some generic resources, which are the basic resources for each system. If you want to modify the priorities, you can always add priorities by clicking on the plus here. from every screen, or you can now use your priorities library. Okay, so the balance library is a collection of priorities that you can create either for general use or for some particular cases. So for instance, Christophe, you work a lot with in sports. So you can have maybe some personal libraries for after sport or for this kind of injury or things like that. And it will be always the same for everybody. So on top of the specific elements that you can choose for after a scan, you can maybe add some generic elements that you will have in your library. So you just choose them like that and you click all and it will just add everything on top of the priorities. And it will just make the meditation more rich and more specific. Okay, so back to your question. In what case do you want to do a new recording? And in what case do you want to add a new column to the progress? It's actually a very good question. Thank you, Tino. I would say you do when you are in the same how to say in the same topic with someone. Just add some elements to the progress so that you can track the progress of each of the biomarkers across your different sessions, or maybe every day if they have a sensor at home and they do the balance. So you will get more data points to see the evolution of each of these biomarkers during the specific work that you are doing with this person. If you decide that, okay, this part of the work is done and now we will address a different problem, then you can do a new recording and you just go back to the homepage and you do a new measurement. Okay, so I would say one analysis is one specific topic and you give it a name. This is one session to heal muscle problem. Okay, anyway, so let's call it a session to heal my muscle problems. And while you are on the muscle problems, you keep the same recording and you add some new elements if you want to do some new recordings. Okay, and in that case, you can compare what's happening. So if I open something in different parts, okay.
In that case, the biomarkers are locked. I mean, from one measurement to the other, the list of biomarkers will be always the same.
Yes, and you can see the evolution across all your different recordings. So you can see that each recording has a certain duration and
lapse
an
time
interval between them. Okay. So you can remember if this is the same day or are there several days between them and so on. And you can see that each of these different elements are in evolution, okay? And you can actually also compare them. So if you want to compare the different parts, you can click on the different parts and you will see it evolving. You see, you can compare the different, or you can just go to the average.
So for the 21-day trial or service,
yeah,
I think it probably, unless you have a specific issue you want to tackle, it'd probably be better to do a new separate scan every day, because that way you get the resources and priorities.
No. On the contrary, this 21-day is always tied to only one file. So it will be always the same. So when you do a reevaluation, it will come as a new part here. It will come as a new column in the same process, because that 121-day meditation session is one topic. So it has one goal and everything is done around one specific issue, Okay. And so you will see the evolution of all these markers. So you will see them here, but you will see also them here. This is the same information, it's just nicer.
Okay.
So probably the evolution part will become something like that in the future because it's much nicer. And you can also see the evolution of everything. Okay.
So in that case, if we have the priorities calculated dynamically, and if there's anything that the customer want to address, which has not been shown, we should include at that very first measurement.
Exactly. That's why you are absolutely right. And that's why when you start a 21-day session, the most important thing you have to do is to choose the priorities. So when you have the priorities, you will have the key priorities here that will be added automatically. They are already here, but you can explore more priorities with the little plus. And you will see that, for instance, these 3 meridians are a low resource. These 5 ones are interesting because of energy, and these 4 are interesting because of movements. So maybe you want to add, I don't know, stomach or heart to your priorities because it will be useful in the current situation. But one priority set is globally one theme and one issue and one decision that you will work on for the coming months with your clients. Okay. And if you are not sure which one to add, you can just click on it and click here to see what it relates to, and maybe the emotional links and so on, and the usage. And if you want to work on this one, you can just click on it.
Yeah. And I remember some weeks ago you mentioned that you get a limited number of priorities and we shouldn't add that many. But I see you now having 32, which is a lot.
Yes, you are absolutely right. That's because in the past I did only one meditation and it could be very long. But now we have changed the meditation with the 21 days. And if you click on preview 21-day program, you will see that every day it changes and every day it uses a different priorities in these different folders. So it will change every day. And it will, so if you have a lot of priorities, they will be used every day in a new meditation. And the only way to get all the priorities at the same time is if you want a very, very long duration, which in this case would be almost 2 hours. Now we would include all the priorities that you selected. So if you have, I don't know, 50 priorities, it would be maybe 3 hours, which frankly, nobody would do a 3-hour meditation. But in our logic of doing it's maximum 40 minutes, around 40 minutes. Yes. In this case, we only include one from each main category.
Yeah.
So that's why now you can add as many priorities as you want.
But then again, I think I understood that when you do the program, every day would recalculate based on your recordings, would recalculate. But that would be amongst the ones which are fixed from the first day, right?
Yes, that's why. In fact, the resources can change because your resources can change every day. So we will, if you do a reevaluation, we will probably change the resources for the day because maybe some elements are getting stronger than other ones, and we will tap into their energy to help the other ones. But the priorities will not change.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, the priorities will not change. What will change is the evaluations of these priorities. And maybe, for instance, if we planned on day 5, which is tomorrow, to work on this vessel or on this chakra, maybe this will change tomorrow if we do a reevaluation because I don't know, the chakra we wanted to work on day 5 is in fact in a higher state that we planned, but there is another one which has gone down. And so maybe we will choose this one instead of this one,
Yeah.
So the actual selection of priorities from the day would change after a reevaluation.
Okay. And remind me, the reevaluation, when I click that button, the customer has to be with me?
No. It's him that will click the button and he will do a recording.
Okay. Yes, that I have that problem. I cannot stop.
That's because I removed Bluetooth. And I think that when you don't have Bluetooth, it doesn't stop. Okay. I will check it.
Yes, please. That I have all the time.
Yeah.
Great. Very clear now. Thank you.
Okay, any other question?
Not from me, no.
We had questions yesterday. What was it? General navigation, history. Yes. Actually, what was it here? So let's go back. Let's go back to this one. So another question from yesterday was, what are the levels under the flower? The levels under the flower on the levels that are displayed on the guided meditation is what I call the resource score. It means the higher it is, the more a resource it is. So if it's very low, it's something in demand, and if it's very high, it's something that can actually connect with other elements and help them. So the resource score is a quite complex algorithm that takes into account almost every element that you have in the flower. So if you click on a flower, you have energy, entropy, attention, intention, horizon, and you don't see them here, but you might have some links. So let's go anywhere here. I don't have links on this recording. Okay, so this score, this bar, is calculated from all of these elements plus the place it has amongst other links to determine how good it is a resource or not. So the idea is that each time it goes up, it becomes a better resource, and each time it goes down, it becomes a less better resource. So of course, the goal is that everything should go up, but as everything is relative, if you can even everything, it's good. Okay. Daniel, do you have a question? It's a day for open questions today.
No, I'm sorry that I mean, I do have questions, but it's like the end of the session.
No problem.
What you just showed me was like progress. That's a key component. I'll go back and look at the recording, but that's a key component, I think, because for getting this into Plymouth Housing, they got to I got to show them this is how you track it.
Yeah.
This is what you're looking for. So that's a component that
Yes.
I just got a new laptop and everything, and I anyway, when I do my frequencies, they don't even take a minute. It just spins right through when you harmonize them.
Yeah.
I'm excited, and I would no, just what I saw there. Anyway, it's Thanksgiving, and I kind of stayed up a little late with family.
Yes.
So, my mind's a little groggy right now. I haven't had enough coffee. So
that's probably why we have less people than usual.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. With Thanksgiving.
I was giving thanks too,
Yeah.
for meeting you, for meeting the people I met at the Science and Alchemy of Consciousness and this program. And, it's just about being present. It really is. you know? And once you start being present and follow your passions, you know, it just, the synchronicities abound. Anyway, gentlemen, I really don't have any coherent questions right now. I mean, I'm not. I just wanted to log in because oh man, I missed it. You know, I'm not at work.
We have a recording, so and you will enjoy some French at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe if we don't have any more questions, we will stop it here.
Yeah.
So I'll stop the recording, and thanks.